Hello everybody, it's Tom Foster here at Foster Web Marketing, here for our March 2013 webinar. And this is an important topic to everybody. We're really excited about doing it. What social media matters for SEO, and it's really the beginning discussion on tying all of this together and how you can use social media to impact your SEO. And we have lovely Danielle Ruderman here with us today. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, everybody.
And this is Danielle's presentation that she'll be doing, and we, of course, have Mike Knademan here as our own social media guy.
Good afternoon, everybody.
He'll be doing social media and providing his normal commentary to the show. So without further ado, let's get into it. Danielle.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. So we're going to be talking about why social media matters for SEO. And we worded it this way because we've noticed that when talking to clients about social media, it's sometimes seen as a separate thing. And we want you to understand how social media does in fact impact your search rankings and why this is becoming a more important factor in how you're doing online. So one thing to keep in mind is, have you checked out your social media presence lately? Have you taken a look to see how your business looks online? Do you know all the social media accounts that are out there that your business may be listed on? Even if you yourself didn't set them up, you may have had a marketing assistant or somebody trying to be helpful who set something up for you, or some of these places actually create accounts for businesses that you may not be aware exist. So it's a really good idea for you to get out onto Facebook and Google+, and review sites like Yelp and Foursquare and see if your business does exist in those places and see what people are saying about you.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice here. It's not like, should I do it? If you haven't done it yet, you're already behind. And this is where everything is already, the train is already down the tracks, and you got to get on it. If you're still waiting, you're just going to be pretty much out of business soon if you're just not going to get on with this social media and start participating.
Oh, go back.
Oh.
You also want to know who has access to your accounts. Now, this is very important if you are working with marketing consultants or if you have someone in your office who's been working on your social media for you. Make sure you know who's got those logins. And do you know what they're saying on the various social media accounts? Are you approving their messages? Is what they are saying to the world, because remember, these are public accounts, is what they are saying, does it jive with your business philosophy? And take a look at what's being said. Is this the message you want to send through social media? Is this the kind of thing you want portrayed to your clients and your potential clients? And our final point here is, have you actually thought about fully integrating social media as a component of your online marketing strategy? And like we just said, if you don't think about social media and you don't talk about yourself on these social media outlets, it's going to be done for you. It's going to be done by your clients. It's going to be done by your competitors. So you need to get out there and get your message out there. So social media matters because your potential clients are online. And a key point to remember here is that social media and local SEO are very much intertwined. People are using social media sites to check into businesses. They are taking pictures of businesses. They are creating reviews of businesses. These are all local events, and many of these items are geotagged, so the search engines know where the picture was taken, where the review was done, where the check-in was done. And these are all signals that are used to verify your business listing and verify that people actually go to your place of business. And keep in mind, Google loves social so much they created their own social network. Facebook became so big they had to have an answer to it, and they are constantly making changes to Google Plus and looking for ways to integrate it into search and make it essential to businesses. So you're going to see their influence continue to grow.
Yeah, and that's what's going on, why everything is in such a flux state as Google buys companies, buys technologies, and integrates it into its own. It makes mistakes too. I was just on Google just a minute ago and it was crashed. I was like, woohoo! You know, and these things impact you. These things have, all the changes that Google makes, they're putting people out of business. So make sure that you're not going out of business because you're not staying current with what's going on. Whether you like it or not, it is getting more complicated and you need to pay attention. You can't just hire an outside consultant or various consultants to do all this stuff for you and hope that it's being done.
And another thing to keep in mind is that there are people out there, your clients and perhaps even your competitors, who are talking about you online. And the things that people say about you in reviews and the things that they share about your business can affect your search rankings. Keep in mind that Google has Google Plus Local, where people can go to review your business, and they actually display review information in local search results. And Bing also has a partnership with Yelp, and they use Yelp review data in their local search results. So search and social are being integrated today. And also keep in mind, if you can attract great followers to your various social media sites, they can give you authority.
And you shouldn't look at social media, you know, I keep saying, well, you got to do it, you got to do it. But, I mean, it's true, but you shouldn't look at it like such a burden. I mean, in a way, it's just it's really old school. It's really the new way of networking. You know, lawyers that used to go hang out, you know, at City Hall or go hang out to meet clients and meet and greet, and, you know, that's in towns and stuff. You were well known because you would be seen places. This is really the new way of doing this in a virtual environment, and Google knows that it's all, local business is where it's at, and so they're promoting all this local stuff, and just you getting out in the community online and talking about what you do or talking about how you can help people. This is what we're talking about, not trying to figure out a way to game the system. We're just going to tell you all the different places that you need to be aware of and try to give you some helpful tips on how to be real, and that's what's important. Just don't do it for SEO. This is not about, like, you know, spamming Facebook with keywords. That's not what we're talking about here. Anyway, thank you, Danielle. Please keep going.
Yeah, keep in mind, this is a great way to get you in front of your potential clients and your current clients in your local area. It's just, like Tom said, a virtual way to do it as opposed to getting out and hitting the street in your local community. So because all these people are online right now, we all know social media is a force in many ways. You can contribute to the conversation. You know, you want to be out there and be a part of what people are saying about you and saying about your local environment. And you want to be providing good quality content that people will want to share with each other. They'll want to see how involved you are in the community, and you can also connect with other local businesses. So it's, again, you want to contribute to the social network. So we have some tips on how to contribute in a meaningful way. And by meaningful, we don't mean just setting up an automated feed from your website. It's going to take a little more than that. One thing to keep in mind is don't just think about your own content. Don't just use this as a vehicle for sharing the things that you put on your website. Take a look at what else is out there on those social networks. If you're on Facebook, look at what other businesses are posting, look at what your followers are posting, and share links that they share content they share, and pictures they share.
I had my hand up because I have a question, and I decided I would not interrupt her this time. So Danielle, you said something right at the beginning of this. This is not about just feeding like an RSS feed to your Facebook page. Talk about that, because that's, Mike, that's what most lawyers just do, right? They're like, just set up that feed and then that's it.
Right.
So, but that's not how you engage with users.
That's one way social media targeting. So what you're doing is you're just shouting from the rooftops, you know, come check me out, come check me out, come check me out, and you quickly get classified as spam. You get recognized as somebody whose only care is directing people back towards your own website, and that's the entire end game for your social media. You want to be interacting with people, showing people you care. Like Tom said earlier, it's all about showing that you're active in the internet community as a whole, and social media is becoming a larger and larger piece of that.
Yeah, for sure, in a really short period of time.
Yeah, we were at a search marketing conference a few months ago in the social media marketing room, and one of the panelists asked, who in here participates in social media marketing? And a lot of people raised their hands, and they said, who in here just has an automated feed from their website to their social media accounts? A lot of people raised their hand, and they said, guess what? You are not doing social media marketing. And that's really the takeaway we want to make here, is that that alone is not engaging on social media.
It is important to have that, but it is not the only thing that you do.
Agreed. So again, keep in mind when you're interacting with people on these social channels, if someone asks a question or someone actually does interact with you, don't be too quick to sell them on your product or services. Really try to answer their question. Think of social media as a way to build relationships, not to get right to that sale. And take a look at the content that you're sharing from your own website. Are you sharing every single thing that you put up on your site? Or are you being choosy and making sure that the content you share is interesting, is it helpful, is it engaging to your local audience? Other things that you can talk about that aren't just content from your site are share details about your employees. You may even have a couple employees who are especially savvy when it comes to social, and they'll want to talk about what's going on in your business in the day-to-day life. You can also talk about charity outreach that you do. This is really important because especially if you share similar views with some of your clients, they may feel good about doing business with you knowing that you care about your local community. You can also put up testimonials. I don't think there's any debate about the power of testimonials from other satisfied clients. Also think about special events. And if you're not hosting special events or not thinking about special events, this is something you definitely want to consider. This is a great way to attract attention to your firm and give back.
I have a question. This is really important, and we just got off a call about this, discussing about how to do it. And the special events, community events, whether you set them up or you participate in other ones out there, just like you said, I mean, those are huge. Those are the best things that you can do that don't cost anything. I mean, well, they cost your time and your effort and whatnot, but it's not a $100,000 Yellow Page ad, that you're not even sure if that's going to work. But you going out to a community event can get you links, can get you press, can get you on TV, can get you invited to other things. There's so many things that can do that doesn't cost very much and that has a bigger impact than any kind of ad that you can buy anywhere. Right, Danielle?
Absolutely. And it also makes you a useful outlet on social media. If you're sharing things that are going on in your local community that your clients care about, they're going to be interested in what you have to say because it helps them. The other thing to keep in mind is that think of other businesses. You're not just trying to network with your other clients. You can actually like and follow the local businesses in your community and build a network of people who may refer clients to you. So be good to other businesses so they'll turn around and be good to you online.
Good point.
And keep in mind that social media affects all stages of the marketing life cycle. So the whole point of social media is to give you visibility online and to give you brand awareness. And again, in your local market. So we preach attract, educate, convert, and retain. These are the key points in a customer's life cycle. Social media can help you with all of these areas. They'll hear about you from other people on social media. You can use social media as a platform to educate. You can convert people when they learn about you and your business. And then retention. This is a really key point. You can retain customers by continuing to provide them value after you've delivered service to them, and you can turn them into promoters of your business. They'll talk about you to other people.
Now, Mike, I wanted to ask you about this because we were just talking about this when we were pulling these slides together, and you got very upset about social media for attract and educate and convert, but you said it's all about retain. What did you mean by that?
Well, I wasn't upset. I want to be very, very clear. I just wanted to make sure that we let you all know that social media is, while it does work for attraction and education and conversion, the best way that it's used is for retention. It's a great retention tool because while, especially with Facebook, with the new graph search feature that came out, it is easier and easier for people to find your Facebook business page organically. That's still not the way that most people are coming in. Most people are going to like your business page after they've had some sort of interaction with you, which usually comes after they've engaged you in a client-lawyer scenario.
Or friend.
Or friend.
Or whatever, but they have to, there's a reason there. Like how many times do we just go to some website where, I mean, we get stuff all the time, and we just go there and like their page because they tell us to? Why would we do that? There's no benefit. But once consumers understand the benefit of the relationship with the lawyer, doctor, whatever, then that's when they friend and they start paying attention to you. But your point is, what you said earlier, you can abuse that relationship too. So after you've gotten them and you're friends with them on Facebook or they're liking you and you're interacting with them, if you're beating them up every day about hiring you for a personal injury, then you're going to lose them. They're going to turn you off because it's just annoying. And anybody that's on this call understands what that's like, being annoyed and pestered by spam from vendors and whatnot. In that case, you're just being a vendor. You're just being like the SEO consultant that's trying to sell you cheap SEO and email 50,000 times a day. If you're like, hey, call me when you're in a car accident. It's just not how it's going to work. It's never worked that way. It won't ever work that way. Okay, so is that good? I mean, it's really all about the retention. And you got to, and Mike and I have this debate all the time about our own social media for Foster Web Marketing. Are we abusing our relationships? We pay attention to when we lose people. We pay attention to our, when people opt out of our emails. You've got to be very careful about annoying people. I just got off a call with a client that's been with us for 5-6 years that says he ignores all our emails because it's just so much of it. So that's what your clients will do to you if you overdo it. So it's a constant battle.
The last thing you want to participate in is information overload for your prospective clients or your current clients.
Yes. Okay.
So this slide is headlined, "Do it because Google said so." We want you to know that social media activity is a trust signal to the search engines. They've been very clear about this. It used to be that link building was the big trust signal, the theory being that if other websites were willing to link to your site, it was a signal that you had something valuable to say. However, link building has been so abused over the years that while it still matters, the search engines are always looking for a different way or better way to determine if your website contains quality content. And social media is one of the newest ways to do this. The theory being that if people are willing to share your information on their personal feeds, it must mean that you have some value. So again, you want to make sure that you're sharing your best and most relevant content with your local audience and have that two-way conversation. And remember to retweet and share other people's content, and tweeting and sharing your own content can help your site content get indexed faster, especially if other people are sharing it as well, because the search engines care about content that people care about. And then again, reviews. Remember, Bing and Google have both found ways to integrate reviews into their local search results. Now we want to talk about protecting yourself online. Your business has an online identity. Whether you have done anything with social or not, you have that online identity. So we want to give you a couple tips, and these are all based on real situations we've dealt with our clients recently. We do have some clients who use other companies to handle their social media, and they've encountered some issues. So these are some of the things you want to watch out for. If you have another company creating your business pages, whether it's in Google+, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, make sure they make you an administrator on the account. Don't let them have full control. Even if they're not being malicious about it, sometimes they just don't think to give the client administrative control. Remember, if you ever fire them or if they go out of business or just disappear, you do need access to that social account.
Well, that goes for almost everything. I mean, let's just say that you need to keep your own username and passwords on file for all your social media accounts, your domain registration, everything. Everything that has to do with anything, you're responsible for keeping all of that data. And we're starting to collect all that and create a database for our clients because it's so much to keep up with, and it continues to grow and grow and grow. And if you get mad at somebody or you forget that they're working on your stuff for 6 months, and you go to try to find your Facebook login because it's been hacked and your name's being blasted all over the internet as a whatever, I mean, you got to be able to fix that quick, right?
Absolutely. And again, like I said, this may seem like an obvious thing, but these are issues that we have had our clients face.
Yeah.
And Mike has worked with clients whose outside vendors have lost their password information and haven't been willing to hand it over, and I know that that causes some problems.
One of the most common problems that I see pretty much every day is I get requests from clients who say, I can't get into, say, my Facebook business page. I say, okay, well, are you an administrator to your personal profile? No, I'm not. Okay, do you know who set up the page for you? I think it was an intern back about a year and a half ago, and I don't remember who it was. I've heard
that happens all the time.
I've heard that more than once. And Danielle and Tom are absolutely correct. You need to make sure that you keep tabs on everything, social media and otherwise, that you're doing online, that you have the keys to every single car that you're driving so somebody else isn't just whizzing around out there.
You know what? I know it sucks. Okay? It sucks. But it is the way it is. And we're just giving you the truth. I mean, we're not, we're here to tell you the truth about what you need to do. So I agree. It's a lot of additional effort, but you need to do it. You need to keep track of your own stuff.
Another thing to keep in mind if you are outsourcing social media is that there are some companies out there that will create a whole separate website just for your social media. And the problem comes up when they use social media to drive traffic to the website they created, thus neglecting your main website. And we won't name names, but be mindful if you see a company promoting this tactic. It is not something that we recommend. I don't think you're going to find anyone in the SEO community that recommends doing this. So just please be mindful and don't do that.
Well, you should never, you should not be creating separate websites for anything, honestly, unless you're testing things, but not for SEO purposes. Google's all about driving it to one site. That's what local's all about. And so if you have a bunch of separate websites that are being set up so that outside consultants can measure the value of what they're doing so they can go and sell you more, it does not help you.
You're just competing with yourself.
Yeah, you're just competing with yourself, and especially if you have, if you have an SEO consultant organically helping you with your website, and then you have pay-per-click and sending all your pay-per-click traffic to a whole different website, those two entities aren't talking to each other, so you're basically double paying for both, really, and not helping yourself in the long term.
You can actually steal business from yourself by not being careful in these types of situations.
We see it all the time.
And if you are working with a consulting company for your social media, do pay attention to what they're posting on your behalf. You want to make sure that you understand their strategy and understand their approach to social media, and make sure you agree with what they're doing and check up on them on a regular basis. You also want to make sure that you or someone in your office is monitoring those social accounts on a regular basis, because you want to respond to posters. If you are lucky enough to get people to engage with you on social media, that is a wonderful thing and should not be squandered. If people ask questions or make comments about your business, absolutely get on there and respond quickly. And make sure that you respond to positive and negative reviews and comments. And above all, keep in mind that people are going to say unkind things about your business, whether it's true or not. And you should use this as an opportunity to show anyone who's reading these public comments that you are a good, honest business owner. And everybody gets negative reviews. It's not a bad thing. It's all in how you handle it to show that you are a real person and that you value your clients. And remember, don't get into online flame wars. It's you never win.
Yeah, you don't get in an argument online. I mean, unfortunately for us, we did that years ago with a web ops company. If anybody does a search for Foster Web Marketing, you'll see that we help them get their site on page 1 for our search term because we decided to have an argument about it. And, that whole argument, that what we argued about has come and gone so many times over, but that still exists as a negative blemish. But Daniel's point is, you can't be in business without somebody not liking what you did or upsetting someone. And the point is, just react to it appropriately. Do your best to try to make that person happy, but crazies are crazies, and they're going to get out there and talk about you. Really, the most important thing to do is identify your perfect client and don't work with crazies as much as you possibly can. Although, sometimes they still sneak in the henhouse.
Yeah, and keep in mind that when it comes to negative reviews, if you get negative reviews or you get criticism online, that just makes your business look natural because it happens to everybody. Any business that has overwhelmingly positive reviews and results, that's kind of an indication that they're up to no good. You are going to get good reviews, you are going to get bad reviews. It's okay.
It's interesting too, just another thing about the reviews is if you go to like Amazon, I go to Amazon, buy all my stuff, I'm always looking at the reviews to make a decision on a particular product or another, and all things have negative reviews, but it is the outweighing of the positive ones, and I'm always entertained by reading the negative ones. I always read them because you're always like, oh, this person's crazy, no wonder. And they're completely, and it's always something particular about them that doesn't relate to any of the rest of the world. Anyway.
All right, so we want to focus on a few social media sites here that matter. Obviously, there's Google+, because it's Google's product. We care about it. Google's still #1 in search. And there's 3 types of Google Plus accounts we'll talk about. We also want to talk about Facebook business accounts, and then Twitter, YouTube, Foursquare and Yelp, which are the review sites, and LinkedIn for Business, which you may not be aware that can be useful for you. So Google Plus, right now it's pretty much a 3-headed beast. You've got Google Plus authorship. So this is your personal Google Plus account, and you need to set this up in order to get a business account or a local account. So you have to have this. But we want to encourage you to use that Google Plus account to connect your Google Plus to your website so you can establish authorship. If you're a client of ours, you know that DSS does this for you, and if you're not using your author tags and connecting your personal Google Plus account to your author tag in DSS yet, what are you waiting for? This is huge. You also have Google Plus for Business, which is Google's answer to Facebook for Business. This is a way for your business to have a page online where you can share content and connect with people on Google Plus as your business. This is also a way for you to establish yourself as a publisher, and you can link your business page to your website, which is something we do for all of our sites. Then you have Google Plus Local, which is the old places. This is basically your directory listing on Google Plus for your business. It tells people where you are, what your phone number is, basically tells them about the business. There are fields that you can customize for the type of services that you provide. And Google Plus Local is where people with Google accounts can go to review you online.
Now, that being said, Google Plus is actually starting to roll the business and local profiles into one thing. So you are going to start seeing the review option on Google Plus business pages. And the goal behind this is to do what I think they should have done originally and take a lot of the complication from having these 3 separate entities all apart. So they're going to take business and local, roll it into one to kind of take some of the confusion out and make it, which is important for you, a lot easier for you to control.
You may actually have found that this has happened to you already. There are some local profiles that are called social local or enhanced local. There's different terms for them. That just means on your local page you actually have a tab for posts. So you can actually do social sharing already. And we have some clients whom this has happened to. Their accounts have already been merged. So you will all probably see this happen more going forward. So how do you make Google Plus work for you? The first thing we want to point out is that Google Plus really is the infant of the social media world. So you can expect tantrums, you can expect growth, and you can expect a great deal of change. And change and problem and frustration and more change. So this social media outlet, it is so important because it belongs to Google, but it is not mature, therefore we've had challenges. In fact, local just changed, all of Google Plus just changed the types of images that they accept in their header and the profiles.
So you may have noticed that overnight the cover photo for your Google Plus profile magically decided to get bigger. And this is a change that Google rolled out about a week and a half ago. And what I found when I've experimented with updating some clients' cover photos for Google Plus is that the same size definitions, the same pixels don't work for every single picture as they should, which makes my job a lot of fun. But it's like Danielle said, because Google Plus is so young in terms of social media, they are going to have little hiccups like this, but they are getting better. Google Plus has gotten a lot more user-friendly since just even about a year ago when they really started making a huge push for it. So stick with it. It is becoming more and more important, especially with local getting rolled into the business pages. It's something you have to be doing.
And keep in mind that all these changes may be frustrating, but don't waste your time getting upset about it or screaming and yelling about Google being a big money-hungry beast. Google cares about users, and they are trying their darndest to provide a good user experience and make money off pay-per-click. But don't waste your time getting upset. Just roll with the changes. You know, if you notice a problem, ask your marketing person, ask whoever you're working with. If you're one of our clients, you can ask us what's going on, and we'll help you out. But do expect change and do expect things to not be as they are today. So we also included a link in the social media slides to the policy and the terms and conditions. And one of the complaints I heard when I went to a local SEO conference last week was the Google representative was very frustrated because he's finding many local businesses having problems on Google Local and Google Plus because they're not paying attention to the terms and conditions. Just by understanding the rules of these social media outlets, you can be way ahead of everybody else and not encounter some very common problems. So do check out the policies online for all these social media accounts before you get into hot water. And as far as why you want to engage with Google+, keep in mind that users who are logged into their Gmail or Google+ when they do a search will actually see social results. So any results from any content that has been shared by their friends or people in their network will rise to the top of the search results because Google is assuming that if your friends like something, you will like it as well. This is one great reason to spread your network of Google+, people who follow you on Google+ as wide as you can. Also, if people share your content on Google+ or talk about you on Google+, this is going to help you in the search results. And also, like I said a couple times, the reviews on local do influence the local search results. So you actually, if you get up to the threshold of reviews, which is about 10 local reviews, that will actually show in the local search results.
I have questions about this, but I'm going to wait.
So Google Plus Personal, like we said before, this is the account that you need to start out with, and this is the one you will use to establish authorship. Again, this is a huge trust signal for Google. If you are willing to put your name on your website and attach it to the content that you produce, this shows that you as a human being are standing behind your content, and that in itself is a trust signal. Authorship is also a way for you to engage with your readers and your friends. If they see that your name is on a piece of content, anything that's clearly written by a person is going to stand out more than just generic content being thrown up onto the web. And also I put an image in here of the search results so you can understand why that DSS author tag and Google authorship is so important. Here you can see when Tom's page here comes up with the search results, you can see his image. That's his image from his Google Plus personal account, which is linked to the Fosterwood marketing page. And that's why it displays in the search results. And studies have been done showing that the click-through rate it is significantly higher when you have your image in the search results than when you don't. This is a great way to stand out in search.
Is it because of my personal image or
It's because
anybody's image, Daniel?
Anybody's image.
Okay.
And Google Plus Business, again, we already covered this. This is a social. I think I missed something.
It's okay. I was just being silly.
It's all you.
Just being silly.
All right. As we said for the Google Plus Business page, this is maybe going away, but right now, if you want to be social in Google Plus, you need a separate business account. Google Plus Local. You need to pay attention to Google Plus Local and make sure you are optimizing this page. Are you adding great images? Are you adding videos? Are you adding the appropriate categories to Google Plus Local? Google has defined a number of categories that you can add for your business, and you need to use these appropriately. And I mentioned the images. Make sure you use very high quality and professional images for your profile. These images actually will show up in the search results, and if you're the person whose business is showing up as just a map, you're not going to stand out. So make sure you're getting a good image up there. Follow the terms of use again. And reviews. We can't say enough about reviews. This is becoming a really big factor in you getting found and people trusting you.
Even though we've, a lot of lawyers, a lot of our clients have gone nuts on adding reviews in the past only to have them disappear overnight. What's that all about?
Yeah, there's a whole strategy around getting reviews you have to be mindful of. If you go out and get a whole bunch of reviews at once, even if they're legitimate, even if you got them because you suddenly asked a bunch of clients or you organically had a lot of clients add reviews at once, this can look suspicious to the review sites, and they all have review filters. Yelp has review filters, Google Plus Local has review filters, and they are pretty aggressive because people are really spamming the reviews. So even if you're doing things right, if you're not careful, you can get your reviews taken down. So make sure that when people are reviewing you, you aren't pushing people towards one site aggressively. You want to get them naturally over time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing that I have lots of conversations about, is that you have to be patient for this whole thing to work out. As Daniel has pointed out, This is something that is constantly changing. And so you don't say, well, I'm not doing it again because it didn't work the first time. You know, it's a lot like fertilizing and watering your lawn. If you think that you can just go out there and fertilize your lawn once and water it once a whole lot in the springtime and it's going to be great for the entire summer, you're wrong. And we know that. We're like, duh, who would do that? But the same is true here. You can't just like blast 100 pieces of content in one day and expect, you know, Google say, oh, you woke up, right? You can't go to social media and blast, you know, Facebook on one day of the month just because you got to do it. You have to be real. And that's really the point here, is that don't try to trick the system. Get reviews, but space it out. Do it a little bit at a time. It should be very natural.
Yeah, ideally you can integrate the review process into your client process as you're handling your clients. Part of closing out a client would be to send them a postcard or ask them to give you their feedback. And you can also suggest that they leave feedback for you on various sites. And one great piece of advice is to let users self-select. There are a lot of different review sites out there. You can offer them, say, hey, we are listed on Google+, we're listed on Yelp, we're listed on these other places. You know, you go where you're most comfortable leaving a review. And that will give you a more natural pattern of reviews if the users are selecting which site to use themselves. Next, we're going to give you a pro tip. The best kept secret, and we learned this at a local search conference very recently, are business-to-business reviews on Google+ Local. So many people don't know that as a business, you can leave a review for other businesses. Why would you want to do this? Imagine if people in your community are looking for a place to eat or looking for something to do, and they find that business on Google Local. Notice on the Google Local places that the reviews are very visible on the page. If you have a highly ranked, helpful review, you are going to show up as a business on their page. So this is a great way for you to get visibility on other businesses' pages by leaving high-quality, useful reviews.
This is huge, and this was such a aha moment when we went over your brief after that conference. But how exciting is this? I mean, like, you guys as lawyers, I mean, you can add reviews for your court reporters. You can review your, you know, whoever you use for your experts, restaurants that are nearby your office, you know, your building that you're in, retail centers around you. I mean, the Starbucks below you, you know, has great lemon cake today or whatever. I mean, those little kinds of things shows that you're active in the community and you're a regular person. So I thought that was a very cool thing to do. That's natural and normal.
Yep, and again, make sure you are useful. Don't just leave quickie reviews to check the box that you've done this. You actually want to provide good feedback. The goal here being for people to vote for your review and say it was helpful, which allows you to rise to the top of the results.
All right, we got a lot to cover here, so I'm going to be quiet.
Talk faster. Harnessing the power of Facebook. One thing we want to point out, even if you don't want anything to do with Facebook, your business may already be on there. Because of Graph Search, which is Facebook's new search function, which is pretty fantastic, even if you don't have a Facebook business page, you will still show up in Facebook search if someone adds your business as a quote-unquote place. Anybody can list you as a business. So just keep in mind that, again, we've said this before, just because you don't want to play the game doesn't mean somebody's not playing it for you. We've also included a link to the terms of use, which is Mike's hot topic. We often see local businesses abusing their Facebook accounts. I think the biggest one are promotions.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I see are clients of ours doing contests or promotions in a manner that is actually explicitly forbidden by the Facebook page guidelines, and this can actually result in Facebook suspending your business page, which of course is the last thing you want. And the biggest thing that I've seen are people putting pictures of promotions where the cover photo should be. That's a huge no-no. You're not supposed to have any call to action, such as a phone number or like this or something like that in your cover photo. Another thing is that anytime you run a contest or promotion, you have to use a third-party application to set up that promotion or contest. If you decide that you don't want to do that, or you decide that you're just going to ignore the guidelines, you will be shut down, and it's going to be a huge pain to either get yourself reinstituted, or you might even have to build everything from scratch.
Lawyers always follow the rules, Michael. Okay, let's keep going.
When you're talking on Facebook, make sure you keep it light. We see a lot of clients posting comments about car accidents or statistics, and think about being at a cocktail party. Would you talk about very grave, serious issues at a cocktail party? Even if you would, please don't do that. Try to keep it light. Most people go to Facebook to be entertained and blow off a little steam. And remember that you're competing for all this other, everybody's attention in their news feed. So you want to put something in there that's going to catch their attention, be funny or interesting or useful to them. And if you provide content that they can read or share with their friends, that's going to help your visibility. And share other people's content. Go and like other people's pages and posts and share things that other people have done. And remember to interact with your followers.
And draw other people into the conversation. That's one of the biggest things. And, you know, for a lawyer that really knows how to use Facebook is Dave Fries. And so in terms of watching a lawyer interact on Facebook and how to do it in a good, positive way. Now, some of that stuff is kind of silly, but it draws conversation, and that's what happens is people hire people they like, and that's a big part of what the benefit of social media is, interacting with people, and they're like, you know, wait a minute, I need a will, or I need a state attorney. I'm going to go talk to this funny guy Dave Fries that I've been on social media, on social media. Anyway.
And unfortunately, I cut off a little bit on my presentation, but Facebook is a great place to test different copy, test images, see what people respond to. Succeeding on Twitter, try to find your local influencers. Most social media outlets have people who are very big on, for example, Twitter. If you can find the people in your area who are big into Twitter, make sure that you are retweeting them, try to initiate conversations with them. Their popularity can help you. And again, try to find and follow people that your perfect client would be interested in. That helps you understand your perfect client all that much better. And monitor the hashtags that are being used in your geographic area to give you content ideas and ideas for tweets.
And you can find those hashtags that are being used in the trends portion, which is on the left-hand side of your Twitter newsfeed. And you can actually hone things down either to worldwide trends, or you can get extremely local and granular so that you're just focusing on, say, Topeka, Kansas, if you're a lawyer that's out there.
And I know one of your pet peeves is no hashtags in Facebook posts.
Yes,
Michael?
no, hashtags don't do anything in Facebook. It just
Yes.
looks weird and is irritating for most people.
For the people that understand social media and the point. So it shows your amateurness when you add hashtags in Facebook. So one other final thing about Twitter is that Michelle Davis, who some of you might know, you might not know, the wife of Chris Davis, a very successful marketing attorney in Seattle. She gave me a great idea about Twitter when you're trying to reach people that are generally harder to reach through email. If you shoot them a note, they generally respond to that very quickly. So I was like, because we were talking about how to get reporters' attention and stuff like that. They don't respond to email, but they will respond to a tweet. Okay.
YouTube. You've got to make YouTube work for you. Keep in mind it is the second largest search engine in the world. You may not think this, but people actually go to YouTube and search for answers to their questions. So think about the questions that your clients ask you. What are you hearing over and over? This is what you want to answer with a video out on YouTube, and do it often. Make sure that you're optimizing your videos for long-tail keywords. The best phrase I heard at the local search university recently was, YouTube is the long-tail keyword killer, because YouTube videos steal long-term keyword searches. If you do a video that answers a very specific question, that video will typically rank very well, and we have an example coming up. Yep.
There it is. Oh. I'm sorry, man.
Getting excited.
I know.
When you put videos out there, make sure you are monitoring them to see if people are responding. Again, YouTube is very social. People will comment on your videos, and you can actually have an interaction with them. And I don't know if you know this, but you can actually leave a video response, either to your video or somebody else. And not a lot of people do this, so the video responses actually can rank quite well. And that's another way for you to get visibility, especially if you're leaving a video response on a very popular video.
It's like a blog comment for videos.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, you may. So again, here's an example of the long tail keywords. We're looking for why a shoulder dystocia an emergency. And you can see that the top ranking pages are all medical websites like PubMed, Wikipedia. You know, these are very high authority sites. And who comes right under PubMed? Our friend Jerry Oginski. So he is ranking for this long tail search because he has a YouTube video that answers that very specific question.
And, you know, Jerry Oginski is a smart guy, and he got on the video bandwagon before everybody else did, and is prolific and pumps out. Anybody that follows him, that sees him on social media, sees his videos pump out constantly. And he's just answering questions that people have. And the point here is that this is a search done in Google, and it's not pulling up a Google or a web page, it's pulling up something from YouTube, and that's the point that Danielle is making. And look at when you see this page, where do your eyes immediately go? To the video thumbnail. That's what people will click on.
Review sites, we've already touched on this, why review sites matter, and we're going to cover reviews in greater depth in a future webinar. But take a look at Yelp and Foursquare. These sites are very good at SEO. Sometimes Yelp profiles for businesses will outrank your own website. Yelp is absolutely fantastic SEO. You may hate them, a lot of people do, but learn to love them because they are good at what they do. And also keep in mind, like I said, Bing uses Yelp data to inform their local search results. So if you haven't yet, go out and Google yourself or Bing yourself and see what review sites are out there for your business and what people are saying about you. You may be surprised at what's going on. And also look for those Yelp and Foursquare power users. If you can find a way to interact with them or draw them to your business, that could help you. And again, there's a lot more to reviews, and we're going to need to cover that in a separate presentation. We also wanted to add a little bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn can work for you. This is a way for you to connect with other local business owners. Again, remember, we are focusing here on local. See if you can get onto LinkedIn with those people in your community. Also connect with your peers and anyone else in your industry. And you can use this as a way to remind your friends and your colleagues of what you do, and this can potentially get you referrals. This is also a great place to show off your credentials. Finally, we always tell you not to talk about yourself, but LinkedIn is all about showing off how much you know and how great you are at what you do. We also want you to review and endorse other people that you know so that they'll do the same for you. LinkedIn is very reciprocal. If you say nice things about other people and use that endorse feature, they'll typically do the same to you, and it makes you look that much better. LinkedIn also has a social posting feature, and people on LinkedIn tend to be very dry and businesslike because it is a business website. So if you can be at all funny or at all interesting or a little controversial, you will actually get attention. It's very easy to do well on LinkedIn.
How can we tell if it's working?
How do you know if it's working? We actually have there's a link down here at the bottom, and we put up a blog post explaining how to create an advanced segment in Google Analytics. What you want to do is set up an advanced segment for all of your social media accounts that you can actually use analytics to see details of what people are doing on your site when they come to you through social. So are the visitors coming in from the social media sites staying on your website? Do they like what they find when they get there? You want to look at the time of visit and their bounce rate. Are they viewing a lot of pages? What pages are they viewing? What are these people interested in? You want to study what social visitors do to understand what's important to them. You can also look at the geolocation of your social visitors to understand if you are attracting the right people. Use all of this data to refine your social media approach. And again, check out that DSS News blog post that we put up to see exactly how to do this.
And we're going to follow up with everybody with all these links and, of course, the presentation. And we're trying to get through this because we have a bunch of questions lined up.
All right. Here's a little reminder. We haven't talked about content yet, but content is still king. So you can sign up for all the social media accounts in the world, but if your content is boring or rehashed or just spun, you're still going to waste your time and lose people's interest. Content matters. Quality content matters.
Yeah, and it's too bad. Everybody just kind of like yawn when we talk about content, but content is the foundation of your house. And without good content, you're just not ever going to, if you just only focus on SEO, and link building and whatever else, and just put up crappy content, it's never going to work. So yeah, content, and it's sad. We're at the summit last year. No one ever wants to talk about content, right, Danielle?
Everybody thinks they know how to write content.
Right. Yeah, that's the point. You guys are lawyers. You think you know how to do it. I can write briefs. I can write optimized web content, but I'm afraid that that's really not the case. Some of you are good at it. Some of you have learned, but there is a nuance to it. And if you're writing content for SEO, that's not the way to do it if you're stuffing keywords in there.
So some last words. Social media is a great place for you to experiment. There's no tried and true recipe for what's going to work on social, mainly because it is newer and it is constantly evolving. But when we say experiment, we don't mean just start throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. So don't engage in quote-unquote random acts of marketing. Make a plan for what you want to do with your various social media accounts. Stick to your plan, be consistent, and measure your results. Use the analytics to see if you're actually getting traffic and if people are actually coming to you and converting. And then use those results to refine your social media approach.
That's right. And one of the ways that to do that test very inexpensively, at least from Facebook, is just run some Facebook ads and see what is working in your social media world. You can inexpensively do it with different images. Don't try to do too much at once, but just perform some testing there. You can set into landing pages on your site to see how people react, test bounce rate, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we have some clients who test images and test content or test their copy on Facebook because the ads are so inexpensive, and they can quickly see what people respond to and what they don't respond to. So never assume that you absolutely know what your clients want. Pay attention to what they are engaging in and what they respond to when you put it out there.
Okay, so Michael, we got a bunch of questions lined up here.
We do, and the first one is from Steve, and he asks, how seriously are LinkedIn endorsements taken as compared to recommendations and reviews?
I'm assuming you mean recommendations and reviews from other clients on other websites. Those are always going to be more important. Where LinkedIn helps you is when somebody is researching you after you have piqued their interest because they found you in search. Typically people will go search for your firm or they'll search for your name, and if they see that you have a good LinkedIn profile and other people have endorsed you, that's just another thing that helps you stand out in their mind. But reviews from other clients on, say, Yelp or on Google Plus Local, because that helps with local search, those are still king.
And Mike Mosier has a question. Do you claim your Facebook place? And the answer to that, Mike, is that if you have set up your Facebook business page appropriately and you put in your phone number, your local phone number that you use, as well as a toll-free if you have that, and your address and all the relevant contact information, if you discover that there is a Facebook place out there that you did not set up or sanction, you have the power to request for Facebook to delete that place. And when they see that you have a appropriately set up Facebook business page and they confirm that you are who you say you are, they will take that down for you. The next question is from Thomas Greer, who asks, can you set up a computer in your office to have clients provide reviews at the time of closing the case, or will Google know that the reviews are coming from the same computer?
Wait, before Daniel's going to answer that, I want everyone to know that everyone asks this question, so pay attention to this answer. The question is, can you set up a computer in your office and have clients come in and add a review right there? Danielle, can you do that?
No. And the reason is because the review sites actually track IP addresses. This is one of the things they're looking for. They're looking to see if one computer with one IP address is leaving a bunch of different reviews. And there's no way for them to know that these are real people. It just looks spammy to them, and you may have those reviews get taken down. This is not something you want to try to do. Now, this question was posed at the local search conference I was at recently, and one suggestion was made is to encourage your clients to use their mobile device to leave a review. This is especially good if they have checked in on Foursquare or Yelp to your business. But even if they haven't done that, just leaving a mobile review when they're at your place of business, many phones know the geolocation of the person using it, and a review done by somebody who's checked in, or somebody who's actually at your business, the theory is that it carries more weight. Some of the folks who specialize in reviews have noticed that checked-in reviews rank higher on Yelp than any other type of reviews. So that's a way around the IP issue, is have your clients do reviews on their mobile phones.
That's a great suggestion. Okay, good. I hope everybody got that. What do we got next?
Michelle actually has a response to our response to Steve. And she says, we put our LinkedIn endorsements on our testimonials page. And if you want to see an example of how Michelle does it, you can go to www.injurytriallawyer.com/testimonials.cfm. And that's actually a really good solution to that problem. So thank you, Michelle. Michelle actually has a question about what the deal is with Google plus local only posting, say, 15 out of 20 reviews on their site.
Google has their own review filters. I actually have a really good slide with how Google filters their reviews, but most of these review sites are very strict, and if it's very easy to trigger their filters. So it could be that they have taken down some of your reviews, or they're hiding them or not showing them, and that is a problem for everybody. Even legitimate reviews that you've gotten from other businesses may not appear, may not show up, and again, that's just that pesky review filter. And they are constantly changing those filters and trying to improve them and trying to catch the people who are spamming the reviews. So we've had people find reviews disappear, reappear, disappear again. You're going to see the reviews fluctuate until these review sites stabilize what they're doing with their filters.
And I've been asked to repeat what Michelle's website is, where she keeps all of the endorsements and
We'll just send it out.
And we'll send it out to you. Bethany Jones asks, how often should we be participating in social media marketing? And the answer to that is you should be doing it every day. That does not, however, mean that you are posting something every day. Your interaction level for different social networks needs to be different. The same strategy does not hold true for Twitter as it does for Facebook. And while Facebook and Google Plus are both very similar, the same strategy that you're using for Facebook will not necessarily be the same one that works for Google Plus. Different people use different social networks because of the way that they appeal to them. And you need to discover how your perfect client is using these different types of networks and act accordingly. So, for instance, you should be active on Twitter daily, and not just once daily. It's more of a stream of consciousness form of social media. That does not mean, however, that you should just run off on the mouth and post whatever you want. Facebook, this is the area where it's very, very easy for you to get classified as spam if you're over posting. The last thing that you want to do, and we covered it a little bit earlier, is go onto Facebook and just one after another make posts within, say, the span of 15 minutes. I see this all the time. People get way too ambitious, and that immediately sets off alarm bells that, one, you're just sitting down on a computer for 15 minutes and cranking out all this stuff, and two, that you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You don't really care. So that's a really good way to get yourself sort of blacklisted in the mind of users.
I would just say, if you haven't really done social media like this, it takes a little while to get used to it. But once you kind of get along the routine, it's no different than when you first learned how to use email, and now you can't live without it. You know, you might have handled everything on the phone or through letters, and then you moved to email, and started not having pieces of paper everywhere, and you started e-filing and all this stuff. It's just getting used to the process and getting some, there's a business logic behind it, but you also need to be very natural. But Mike points out to me all the time, and I ask him, is this better for Facebook or Twitter? How should we handle this particular thing? And, my big question, we got 2 minutes left. I'm sure we have another question, but here's a question I have. What's going on in terms of the social world of Google+? It's like a ghost town compared to like Facebook, right? So what does that mean? We talk about this. The only people that seem to be on Google+ are lawyers.
And Google is trying their darndest to fix that problem. What you may have noticed if you've set up a Google account for anything recently is you have to set up a Google+ personal account. You don't have an option anymore. And you also have to realize that Google+ is, again, still very, very young. Facebook, the reason it exploded as quickly as it did is because it started out at Harvard on a college campus and it quickly went viral because a lot of people were using Facebook in a small proximity and expanded from there. The word of mouth is a lot quicker. Google has tackled a social media in a lot more difficult way in that they're dealing with their entire universe, which encompasses the entire universe. So it's going to take a little bit longer for it to catch up to the frequency of use that Facebook has. But if you pay attention to stats and if you start monitoring, the daily use of Google Plus is going up consistently. And at the end of the day, it's just something that you have to adopt and you have to start using. And now is the time for you to begin experimenting and formulating your strategy because it's so young and you have more room for error.
Right. Don't wait like you waited to get your website. Don't wait to start doing this until it's too late and your competitors are already way far ahead of you.
And I guess the final question, we received it from several people, so I think this is a pretty good one to end on, is we talked about staying away from setting up separate sites just to push social media. But what about having separate sites for specific topics?
This is kind of a difficult question. In general, we recommend that you keep your business, especially if you have one office location, you keep it on one website. If you have completely separate businesses and completely separate locations, that's a different issue. So it really depends on the particulars of your situation. And if you're a client of ours asking that, that's definitely something you can ask us about. Use your need help button in DSS or give us a call and let us know why you're thinking about doing it, and we can give you some guidance. Like I said, in general, for a business and a location, keep everything on one site as much as you can.
Yeah, and it's just not a cookie cutter. It's unique to what your situation is and whether you should do it or not. So we'd have to know more about it. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up. That was a lot of stuff, and Michael will have this recording sent out to people and a PDF of the presentation with all of that data, with the links to everything, with the links to how to set up analytics so you can monitor your social media, all kinds of goodies in there. Well, thanks everybody for attending the webinar here this month. It's not getting any easier, but we're here to try to give you the best advice and the best guidance we can on how to get there. Thank you, everybody. Anything else?
Oh, take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your time.